Today we're doing a photo shoot. We're trying to do a golden hour sunset shoot. It's a little bit cloudy, but we might be able to get some cool clouds in the shot, and we might be able to get some gold just in the background. Right now it's 5 to 7, and we want to plan to start shooting at around 7 o'clock, maybe a few minutes after. Golden hour is anywhere from about 7 o'clock to 7:45 these days. So we have our C-stand set up here. The next thing I'm gonna do is put my flash head on it. This is my strobe. It's Gemini 500R by Bowens. It gives me 500 watt seconds. And I'm going to be putting it on my C-stand. And we're gonna be using this as a fill light, and I'm gonna be having it on the side of the model. So the modifier that I have today is going to be a 36-inch octabox with a speed ring. And the reason I'm using this is because I do like the shape of it. The octabox gives a nice flattering catch eye. It gives a nice flattering catch light in the eye. And to set this up is pretty easy. So just gotta take one of these 8 rods and put it in the hole right there, and then just keep going around and just keep putting them in. And then this is going to give me really nice soft even lighting, and I'm going to try to put it as close to the model as possible, because the closer you put it to them, the bigger it appears in perspective to the subject. So when you're doing that, it increases the effect of soft light. So you can see this one's pretty easy to set up. And there we go, octabox. They call it octabox because it has 8 sides on it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? Goes right over the front of the light. And now what I'm gonna put the softening baffles into it. So this one has 2 layers of diffusion. You could use 1 layer of diffusion if you need more light, but I'm trying to go for softer light, and because we're gonna be shooting around sunset and even a little bit darker potentially, I really don't need all that much light. And of course, you wanna be careful not to touch the bulb, because if you touch the flash bulb, it will the oils in your hand affect the bulb, and it'll cause it to pop out and break, and you don't want to blow a bulb. No?
Alright, yeah,
Okay.
it's fine, it's fine, it's fine.
Okay.
Alright, how is it going?
Good, you look good.
So I brought some things, I didn't know what your plan was.
Okay, that's fine. That's cute. I like it. So I'm still getting set up. I'll be done set up in a few. And the last thing we're doing is just sealing off the back end of this, and now the octabox is fully assembled. So we just want to seal this off so no light comes through here, and we get the maximum amount of flash power towards our subject. And now after the softbox is assembled, what you always want to do before you start shooting, you want to make sure that the light is centered over the tallest leg of the C-stand. Just so if it has a tendency to lean, it's leaning into the highest leg, it gives it more leverage. And then I have a sandbag over here that we're going to be putting on the back leg here as a counterweight, and it's going to hold it down. So if we do get any wind that's blowing, this thing's not going anywhere. Before I set up the speed light, I'm going to position the model. So Summer, why don't you come in here?
Alright.
Are you, if you're not okay with the behind the scenes videos?
Yeah,
Okay.
no,
Oh,
it's
okay.
fine.
Yeah, okay, that's
There we
fine.
go.
So basically I want you right here. We're going to be switching it up a little bit, but just stand here. So the reason I have this is the sun's behind her. The sun looks really gorgeous right now. It's going to illuminate her hair a little bit. And then the flash that I'm going to have is going to fill in the side of her face a little bit. Stand a little bit more over here. Right, cool. Now I'm going to hook up my Bowens pack. So this is a battery pack made specifically for my lights. And this is older gear, but you can still get great results with older gear if you know what you're doing. There are some advantages to newer stuff. Obviously, it's easier to use. It's usually smaller and lighter, but it's also more expensive. So if you just want to do something affordable, buying old gear is a great solution. The flash is mostly set up, but what I'm gonna do now before I actually set the flash settings and have the flash fire is I'm going to check my camera settings and make sure everything's good with the camera. Yeah. So of course you want to make sure that your lens is nice and clean, and even more so when you're shooting into the sun, because the sun definitely will show the dust on the lens. It will come out in the photos. And I'm using the Sony a6500. It's a 1.5 I think crop sensor, and I'm using the Sigma Art 2.8 24-70. So let's turn this on. Okay, my ISO is at 100, which is the lowest it could go on this camera, and I want it the lowest it could go so I have the cleanest image. So I'm just taking test shots. You don't have to perform right now. So what I'm gonna do is just check the background exposure. So right now I'm at 1/200th and I'm at f9.0, and I'm going to change my f-stop a little bit because the background's getting blown out. So if you see the picture right now, the background's exposed well, but obviously you can't see Summer at all. But that's exactly what we want because the flash is going to fill her in. If we blow out the background, there's no recovering it. So you always want to set your exposure for the background first. First thing before we start shooting, I'm gonna tell the model, don't look into the light, and I'm gonna point into it because, okay, Summer did a great job and she looked away, but what most people do is when I say don't look into the light, the first thing they do is look into the light. So good job.
All
right. So I usually tell people that first because I don't want to blind anyone.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do a test shot, and you could see the strobe firing on her. And the sun's going down rapidly, so I'm gonna open up my f-stop just a little bit more, take one more shot, and see how the balance is between the background and the subject. And I actually really like that she's popping right off the screen. I like the angle of it, I like the shadows. I think everything's pretty good right now.
Thank you.